Oh, welcome to Tyler's Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Today is August the 18th, 2026. We're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw that happened because, ladies and gentlemen, we found out more people got advanced, the Luchadors advanced to the World Heavyweight Championship match in Mexico in September. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy August is almost over. That means summer is almost over. Dang, God. I hate summer, man. I hate it so much. I think my dog hates it so much, too, because we had to go outside in the hot sun every time, and he gets huffy and puffy a lot. But, ladies and gentlemen, I bought a dog water bowl. I've seen it on videos that you put water in it, and then you tilt it, and there's a little blue bowl there, and you push a button and the water comes out. When you go for a walk, so you can just give them water. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool for me because me and Buckets walk. Where we walk, it doesn't have a lot of shade. We go to the park, it has a lot of shade, but how we get there doesn't have a lot of shade. So he's always hot and thirsty and all that stuff. So I give him water now. I think it's a good invention that I bought for him because it will help him, especially when it's really hot outside. It's very hot. No, it's annoying. I don't like it. Thank God it's almost over. 2 weeks left, and then it's over. Well, summer's not over yet. In 2 weeks, it will still be hot a little bit in September, but not fully. Not the full month. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw because, ladies and gentlemen, we got a match got made for Sunday night main event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to start off with the start of the show or the end of the show. At the middle of the show. I got the yawns. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Vision was getting interviewed in backstage and want to know what's next for the Vision, because they've been destroying everybody the last couple weeks. What they did to Akira, what they did to Otis. So we heard from Logan Paul. Nobody really cares about what Logan Paul has to say. He's not really doing much because he has an injury. So what is he doing? I have no idea. Nobody cares. And Maxine Dupree, we heard from Maxine Dupree. She kind of focused on her boyfriend there. But she did talk about that she thinks it's funny what Austin Theory did to Otis, cracking his head onto the ring post and destroying Akira Tozawa. And Austin Theory said a whole bunch of things, and then they were about Captain Kelly asked Braun Breaker a question. Braun Breaker says, whatever I want to say to Oba, I'm going to say it to the ring, to his face. So he marched to the ring. And ladies and gentlemen, he called out Oba Femi. And then ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman came out and he said a whole bunch of things, saying that you want to know who is the future of the WWE. You or Oba Femi. Oba Femi comes out and he says everybody knows who is the future. I know it, the fans know it, and Brock Lesnar knows it. And all that stuff, and then, ladies and gentlemen, Braun Breaker looks like he wants to fight right now. But Paul Heyman stomps Braun Breaker from attacking Oba. Says, what are you doing? He says, this match is blockbuster. This is a main event match. And you going to try to screw it over because of your ego? He says, Sunday night main event. Braun Breaker versus Oba Femi, main event to find out who's the future of the WWE is. So, Braun Breaker and Oba accepted the match, and it looks like it's going to happen. You saw Paul Heyman shake hands with Braun Breaker, and then when Braun Breaker was leaving the ring, Paul Heyman shook Oba Femi's hand. Braun Breaker did not like that. He wasn't happy. But I don't think that Paul Heyman is anyone's manager right now. Remember, he said he gave the management to Maxine to the Vision. He's out. Brock Lesnar retired. So, I don't think Paul Heyman has anyone as his client right now. So, why would Braun Breaker get upset with that? You have a manager that's not really managing. All she cares about is her boyfriend. Not really caring about the faction. Stephanie McMahon came out and wants her women's world title. She called out the women's world champion, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan comes out and she says she's not being a champion for anybody. She's doing it for herself and all that stuff. And Stephanie McMahon says, why are you standing all the way down there and just come in the ring? And Liv says, okay. So the rest of the Judgment Day, her and Raquel and Roxanne came out, surround the ring, and they attack Stephanie McMahon. But here comes Becky Lynch of the save, and ladies and gentlemen, we still have a little problems between Stephanie McMahon and Becky Lynch. But ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you guys what happened with Solo getting delivered to Roman Reigns. That was the end of the show. I will tell you guys more about that later. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Javon Evans versus JD McDonough because in the commercial break, JD and Dominic is upset because Dominic, the mega champion, is not in the tournament for a shot at the World Heavyweight title. We know he's not going to win. But ladies and gentlemen, they got interrupted by Javon Evans. He just walked past them and walked in the ring, and he called out Big Cass. Big Cass didn't show up because JD says, oh, all you care about is Big Cass. You interrupt us, now you're going to get beat up by us. Right now, it's just laughable saying that you're really going to get beat up by you guys. Didn't you guys lose to the dang Danhausen? Hey, it's his birthday yesterday. Happy belated birthday, Danhausen. Birthdayhausen. I did not know that until on the commercial break. He was celebrating his birthday. So ladies and gentlemen, we have this match between JD McDonough versus Javon Evans. Pretty decent match, back and forth. These guys destroyed each other, but the winner of that match was Javon Evans. But after that match, Big Cass came out to attack Javon Evans. Destroyed him doing his bear hug East River Cross. And then, ladies and gentlemen, when he was about to leave, Javon Evans says, is that all you got? So Javon Evans wants more, so Big Cass trying to get in the ring. Javon has some fight in him. Keep fighting him and make sure he can't get in the ring. He did a suicide dive onto Big Cass. He was beating him up until stupid Dominic got involved and attacks Javon Evans. And then Big Cass destroys Javon Evans thanks to the help of Dominic Mysterio. Stupid Dominic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is interesting because our first ever to see El Fiscal in the WWE ring. We've seen his father, 1990s. I forgot what his name was. Corey Graves said his name, but I think I seen this guy in a Royal Rumble match. He had an appearance in the Royal Rumble match, and now this guy makes his WWE debut. And it's against Ray Phoenix in the World Heavyweight Championship No One Contenders Tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pretty decent luchador match, but the winner of that match was Ray Phoenix. He advances to the tournament. And then we had Ruka versus Lara Valkyria. They talk about Bayley a lot, saying that Lara got rid of Bayley and all that stuff. It doesn't sound like she's gone, because I believe she showed up at a live event and attacked Lara Valkyria once, but she didn't do it on live TV. But ladies and gentlemen, it was a pretty decent match between these ladies. But the winner of that match was Ruka. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we got another No One Contenders tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. Dragon Lee versus Dr. Wanger Jr. We've seen Dr. Wanger Jr. wrestle on NXT plenty times. He had shots at the North American title. He had a shot for the tag titles with his brother, Galeno. Yeah, it was a pretty decent match. I enjoyed it. And we saw Dr. Wanger on SmackDown when he accepted the open challenge of Carmel Hayes for the United States title. It was a pretty decent match, but the winner of that match was Dragon Lee. He is advancing to the match. We're going to see Dragon Lee versus Ray Phoenix next. Hell yeah! Want to see that match happen. Who's Penta versus Ray Phoenix? I think that's how they do it, right? Dragon Lee. No, Dragon Lee would be versing Ray Phoenix. Who won the last week's match? Oh wait, there's 6 of them, right? There's 6 of them. Why am I don't know what I'm talking about here? Is there 6 competitors or 4? I think there's 6. Who won the last 2? Who was on last week's? I know there was La Parka versus Psycho Clown at AAA. Penta and Laredo Kid. So Penta would be facing La Parka. Ray Phoenix would be versing Dragon Lee. There we go. So Penta versus La Parka. I think this is our. No, it is not the first time we saw La Parka on a WWE show. He was on NXT against teaming up with Mr. Iguana. I think it was Halloween Havoc. And he was on SmackDown going for the AAA tag team titles. I believe it was him. When Angel and Berto was the tag team champions. I believe so. On SmackDown, I believe so. But ladies and gentlemen, we have our main event. Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. It was a pretty decent match. I enjoyed it. It was crazy. Rey Mysterio looked like he was about to win, but ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that match was Chad Gable. Chad Gable won. He retained the title, and there was a lot of respect from both men. Rey Mysterio even put the belt on the waist of Chad Gable. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Roman Reigns and Solo getting delivered to Roman Reigns. Roman is upset with Solo, and he says, I made a video package of Solo and what happened the last couple of years. Because remember, the same thing what happened to Jacob Pot too when he lost the Tribal Comeback. He's supposed to be serving to the Tribal Chief, but remember when the premiere of Netflix, Solo lost a Tribal Comeback match, but he did not serve for the Tribal Chief. He made his own bloodline. Remember that? Tamatonga, Talatanga, Tongaloa, and JC Mateo. I'm surprised they actually showed them on the video package. Normally they don't do that because they're not part of WWE anymore. JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, made his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tongaloa, I don't know where the hell he's at. I don't know, he's going to be in New Japan. But Talatanga and Tamatonga is on SmackDown as your tag team champions. So, yeah, I'm surprised they showed them. But they did, and ladies and gentlemen, they showed Solo losing the match in the premiere of Netflix, saying that he will acknowledge Roman Reigns, but he didn't. So Roman says, look at you now. You're all dressed up. You have your chains. You have your watch. He breaks his sunglasses. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Roman is just pissed and yelling at Solo, saying, why are you not on your knees asking for forgiveness? Jacob Fatu attacked Solo and did the Tongan death grip on him. And Roman said, enough. And then, ladies and gentlemen, here comes LA Knight to make the save, but the numbers game was too much. Remember, Jacob was not allowed touching LA Knight. He did attack LA Knight, and Roman says, what are you doing? I told you not to do that. So Roman did a Superman punch onto attack LA Knight, and he told the Usos to pick him up. He says, and he told Solo, you and him. Get rid of LA Knight. Why am I doing it? This is supposed to be you trying to tell me that you belong here. Solo is yelling, I'm sorry to LA Knight. I'm sorry. He was about to do Samoan Spike, but he swung that spike into Roman Reigns. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the warning shot, bang, to the Usos. Solo got rid of the Usos, destroyed them. LA Knight did the same thing. There was a nasty spike onto, I think it was Jimmy Uso. He was leaning against the barricade and right in his chest. I thought he was trying to flip over the barricade, but he didn't. But it was funny. And then LA Knight had his face to face with Roman Reigns. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, Jacob Fatu can't touch Roman. So Roman was about to do a Superman punch on LA Knight. But LA Knight caught it, BFT, and knocks out Roman Reigns. And everybody's just staring down Jacob Fatu because Roman told Jacob, stop touching people. So it looks like LA Knight and Solo is still friends. They props each other, they walk out together, and now they're both in this problem against the Bloodline again. And they can't ask Royce Keys for help, and now there's more numbers games. Because Roman is part of the numbers game as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment below, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I still didn't get my Roman and the old school Seth Rollins from my faction. I'm getting upset about it. But I did get the old school Drew McIntyre, the 2010 Drew McIntyre. Last year I couldn't get it, and I got a mod, and guess what happened? I got corrupted. Goddamn corruption. And now I don't do mods anymore. I try to get my faction cards. If I can't get it, I don't try to find it on communications. I try, but I don't get the mods. But the Roman Reigns I really want, because that's an old school Roman Reigns. I could get the current Roman Reigns out of my old school and put that Roman Reigns in the current old school and put in my Evolve. The Seth Rollins, I think would be cool to get. I think I could do something. Maybe the Shield Seth Rollins I have could be in my Evolve, and this Seth Rollins, the other Seth Rollins that they have, I could put them in the in my old school and get the Shield Seth Rollins out. Right? So simple as that. But it's taking forever. I need to get 3 cards and I can't get any of them. I buy a whole bunch of packs and guess what? I can't get anything. These packs suck. I got 1. I need a Blake Moreau for Roman Reigns. No, it's Seth Rollins. I got her. Now I need a Ken Shamrock and the Eddie Guerrero 05 Persona card. Let's see how long that takes. I might buy some VC points. I don't know. Put on the credit card. I have no idea yet, but we will see what happens. But that's all for today. Time is out. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. For NXT results, Zilla Fatu is on NXT. Let's see what happens. Bye-bye. Time is out.